Hey, you guys, Kareem Jackson, you are live on the set, and I'm going to take you around the world with me. My dream as a minimalist CEO, turning my clients' dreams into reality is what I do, showing that success is truly for everyone. Hey, you guys, I've got new shows weekly. Stay tuned and live your best life.
What is busy? 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 What if 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 What if
A failed president, the worst economy in U.S. history. More Americans have died in this 4-month period than ever before. Donald Trump's response? Stop the election. He can't win. We voted during the wars. We voted in the Great Depression. We voted when civil unrest swept the country. Americans died for our right to vote. Americans marched for our right to vote. Americans were beaten and brutalized for our right to vote. Now a failed president faces defeat, with millions out of work and tens of thousands dying from his incompetence and neglect, threatening the very foundations of democracy. A failed president, the worst economy in U.S. history. More Americans have died in this 4-month period than ever before. Donald Trump's response? Stop the election. He can't win. We voted during the wars. We voted in the Great Depression. We voted when civil unrest swept the country. Americans died for our right to vote. Americans marched for our right to vote. Americans were beaten and brutalized.
Police brutality, not on our watch. Poor healthcare, no sir. Our voting system is broken. It changes when we change it. We rise up as one. We speak out for our black lives. In 2020, we show up to the polls. Your vote is your microphone. So get in the booth and turn yours up. Reclaim your vote. You dig? Go to bet.com/reclaimyourvote for more on how to register.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
What is this here?
I didn't touch any of that.
Sound card.
you're outside. Testing, testing. I can't change the time, Joe. It's set already. I can't. It's a computer. It turns on. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3. It's here. But let me try to call your Facebook. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Can you hear me out there, you guys? You guys got me? You guys see me? Oh my Lord. Let me hold on 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and switch these up. I'm going to get these cameras all situated, you guys. Let me go ahead and play this commercial one more time. We're talking about this right now, you guys, this voting situation in the States. It has gotten so crazy, crazy, crazy. If you guys can hear me out there, let me know. If you guys hear my voice, let me know. I think we got a little bit of delay out there, but this is a good topic, you guys. We are trying to get all situated so that all of a sudden, you guys, I'm going to reset my camera here. So wait 1 second, Joe. I would reset everything this morning, you guys. They don't want us to talk about this, I think, this morning. They're trying to, block my stuff and sabotage me. But we're talking about this voting today and all that great stuff. Time, you guys. So keep that in mind. And we got David here. He's trying to come through. Thank you, man. I hear you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Praise God. Crazy tech difficulties this morning, you guys. But understand one thing. We are going to have a great show today. Oh my goodness. Let's go to Lincoln Project commercial one more time, you guys. Then we'll be right back and we check on David. Let me know if you guys can still hear me out there.
Economy
you
in
guys
US
still
history.
hear me? Let me know.
More Americans have died in this 4-month period than ever before. Donald Trump's response? Stop the
1,
election.
2,
He
3.
can't win. We voted during the wars. We voted in the Great Depression. We voted when civil unrest swept the country. Americans died for our right to vote. Americans marched for our right to vote. Americans were beaten and brutalized for our right to vote. Now a failed president faces defeat, with millions out of work,
Testing,
and
testing,
tens
1,
of
2, 3.
thousands dying from his incompetence and neglect, threatening the very foundations of democracy. Donald Trump, here's the message.
All
We
right, you
will
guys.
vote. We will defend America. We will throw you and your failed cronies out of office. The choice, America or Trump.
The Lincoln Project is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Good morning, you guys. Oh my God, if you guys are in the States, good evening, good evening. Ooh, a late start today, you guys. Drama going on this morning. I can't believe it, you guys. Things were not working properly. I think that we're trying to sabotage this little vote thing. We've got 3 days, you guys. If you're out there, you guys, I see you. Sagas, man, voted early. Praise Jesus. I appreciate it. I did too, man. Sagas, thank you very much. I won't ask you who you voted for, but I'm glad that you chimed in this morning. If you guys hear my sound real good, just let me know in the comments. How do I sound? I sound okay? Joel, everything's cool? Everything's cool. Okay, you guys, be back on track here. I got my suit jacket today, baby, because I'm talking to Attorney David Youngblood. I wanted to look professional this morning. You guys, if you guys have not voted, there are 8.7 million of us expats, you guys, out here abroad. 3 million, of course, or so that are registered to vote. Maybe about 4 million now with the whole situation back home that have registered to make sure they're voting. So you guys make sure that you've already done that. Of course, absentee ballots they're done because unlike before, however many years since the military, I got out of the Air Force when I was in high school. I went to the Air Force. So since high school, when I turned 18, my first voting was absentee from the Air Force Base. So I don't get it. I don't understand. And we knew that we had till November 3rd or whatever to get our votes in. So that was voting day, was November 3rd. So you got your vote in November 3rd. No matter where you were, no matter what you were doing, it was in. The same as your light bill, your water bill, if the check is in the mail and stamped by the date that it's due, baby, ain't no late fees, right? But today they've changed all of that, you guys. So anyway, Black folks, no one can tell us that Black folks, you guys, we are late now. Nobody can say that. Black people time does not apply anymore. Black folks, my goodness, we voted early. More Black folks voted, you guys, already, they say, than more had voted for Obama. So you know Black folks are upset. And I assume that means minorities too. If you guys are out there, you guys voted, chime in. Let me know how it was. If you were in line and all that great stuff, let me know. We're getting David. He's back. He's figuring out how to get logged in here. David is right here live, you guys. Thank you, Joel. I appreciate it. Sounds good now. Thank you very much. I moved my studio around. I haven't finished yet, so you guys haven't seen the whole view. I moved everything around. We're moving the whole bungalow around, getting ready for the holidays. Hopefully we can have a holiday party. So we're moving things around. The Christmas tree is up. The lights are around the outside, and we're ready to kind of go, you guys. So that's why I was kind of hectic this morning. You guys grab your coffee, and if you're out there, chime in, share this, like this, because I'm gonna tell you this. More folks have voted because I'm going to tell you one thing that's fantastic that happened about Trump. If you guys support him or not, the one good thing that he did is he woke the whole world up to the racism and the biasness and the white privilege and all of the things in the States. If you didn't believe me not before, if you didn't believe what I was talking about before, you sure in the hell believe me now. A lot of Filipinos, I'm in the Philippines Islands in my bungalow, you guys. A big shout out to you, by the way. I got into it. I'm sorry. I'm Kareem Jackson. You guys are live on the set right now with me. I help woke entrepreneurs to minimalize their cluttered lifestyles, to outsource their business processes, to make more money and to live their dream life while they do it. But of course, since COVID, we've been having studios at home in our bungalow here in the islands. We stayed here throughout the whole COVID thing. And of course, you guys, it's all been political and racist and crap like that since the last 8 months. We couldn't avoid it. So if you guys go to my channel, you guys on YouTube, or go to creamantonio.com, you can hear all about business, how to quit your job, how to minimize and get out there and get your thing going. But today we're talking a little bit of politics, about voting, about what it's about, because a lot of folks out there talk about how they don't know why we vote. They don't get why Black folks are protesting. The angry Black man, the angry Black woman, they don't understand what voting in America really is and how every democracy around the world has been, modeled after the American experiment, right? And I'm blessed to be an American. I love my country, but we got some work to do. And so you guys, David said he's still trying. I see you, David. Keep trying, man. Get that in there. I'm not sure you can get logged in, maybe where you're at, brother, with your phone. He's actually in Washington, D.C., so I want to bring David today to talk about voting because he's got some really good insights about it and all that great stuff. So I want to bring him in, you guys. So you guys understand one thing that I think that a lot of people misunderstand or don't really get about the whole voting thing in America and how it works. A lot of foreigners, a lot of minorities go there, whether you're Mexican, whether you're Asian, whether you're Arab, whether you're a woman from abroad, anything like that, or an American woman, and they don't realize my great-grandmother, my grandmother, she couldn't vote her entire life. There was a time when she couldn't vote. There was a time when she couldn't drink at fountains and all of those things. The fact that Blacks were freed and the whole emancipation, those are all protest and voting and things like that. Those things all came about. So anytime that you're sitting in America and you're at a Denny's, or if you're a Black person, you're sitting at Chili's, or a Mexican person, or if you're sitting up here and you bought a house or you have a credit card and you're a woman, you better be thanking some folks that protested and voted, because you wouldn't actually have those rights. Before, America was made for white men. Done. Not Chinese, not Black, not women, white men. So all the protesting, all the voting held America to the contract of democracy. And mind you, American racism is something totally American. It's the racist thing, the KKK, they're pretty much only in America. I mean, you got a few skinheads in Europe and things like that. There's racism everywhere. But the whole thing, we kind of invented that. It's kind of crazy. But you guys understand one thing is that Voting is such a right, and people don't remember in this new generation, our young folks, they don't really understand. I'm sorry, you guys. We're in the studio, a lot of noise in the background. I can see the green lights going up. You guys can hear that. You guys understand that one thing is that all of those things were voting. That was all us holding democracy up to its agreement. When you heard that black girl protesting, I think I have the video. I'll play it later when David comes on. You guys, if you guys noticed that before, you guys, she was talking about the contract with Black America, meaning we understood when it was all over. We came here, we were slaves or whatever. We helped build the nation. We didn't like it. We were slaves. It wasn't a good thing, but we figured it out. And then when we were free, it was kind of a contract, 40 acres and a mule, and you understood, and we were all equal, and all that hatred and killing and lynching was going to stop. Then here comes Jim Crow. They broke that. Then, of course, we're free now. So now we have to work and build and have businesses of our own to build these things for ourselves. So then what happened after that, right, was then they were burning our towns. They were lynching and killing us because you had money. If you were more successful than the white dude, they got jealous. I'm talking about the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, all those times, right? Up to probably the 70s. Well, even now, maybe for the most part, right? You know, they pull over black folks a lot of times. If you have a nice car, you got a nice suit. Even in my generation, why are you driving this car? You know, you better be a chauffeur. You better be driving, you know, for a limousine company, because if it's your car, you got to explain how you made this money, which in America, the funny thing about that is unless you pay a car cash, which most people don't do, you got to have credit. Or someone has to have credit and buy it for you. So it's not even about the cash, it's about your credit score and things like that. So if you have credibility and you're driving a nice car, you would think, right, if you're a celebrity, if you're an athlete, things like that, that you would be recognized and be safe. But we haven't been. So now this election, the whole Trump situation, the whole 4 years now, to me has been a blessing. You guys may not agree with me. You can chime in the comments and all that good stuff, you guys. But I have believed that Trump, and I'm getting on my phone to see where David is. You guys share this and like this, send this out there. You know, I believe, you guys, that Trump's situation has really helped us quite a bit, because at the end of the day, 4 years ago, no one knew what most blacks were talking about. It was more about us complaining, and it was pretty much black on white situation. Now, with Trump, from the minute that he came down the escalator, he didn't say black folks are rapists and murderers and thieves. He was talking about Mexicans. He didn't say build a wall between the hood and the white folks, which used to exist. There used to be a line that black folks couldn't cross on the street or on the highway or things like that throughout America, right? He didn't say that. He went for the Mexicans. So all of a sudden, what Trump has shown is that all of this, we're all niggas now. We're all in this now. You may support Trump as a black or a Latino or a gay or a minority, or of course women I know support Trump. But at the end of the day, and I have a lot of friends on Facebook, haters or whatnot. I shouldn't say friends, but people that are on Facebook that hate me on Facebook that support Trump as well. By the way, you guys, I'm a Republican, but I did not vote for Trump. I voted for Barack Obama twice, but I'm Republican because the ideals used to be very good. It used to be about business and teaching one how to fish and not giving him the fish and all of those great things. And when I was a young entrepreneur back in the day, a lot of my support, when I was the Kauffman Foundation alumni, when I was the SCORE, if you guys in America, you know SCORE, right? Service Corps Retired Executives. But I was their poster child on their national National Entrepreneur of the Year, and I was their first minority to be nominated, I think, at that time. I didn't win. I was nominated, though, but that was a good deal. I was the first one to be nominated, so they had to look at me at least. But by default, at that time, Bush Jr., right, was going for, you know, he was going for it. He was going for the election. And Bush wasn't very smart. He wasn't the suave guy. He was definitely a daddy's boy. He had money because of that. And you guys remember the whole drama with Bush family having ties with the Bin Laden family because they were investing and all this stuff. But I was curious at that time because I felt like, well, one, Republicans, SCORE and all those organizations, they're very Republican. A lot of the guys that retired executives that are in SCORE are Republicans. And I started seeing my coaches. Okay, thanks, David. Keep on trying, man. I appreciate that. I started seeing a lot of my coaches, you guys, they had their little car in their driveway, and I maintained estates in the States at this time. I had a company that maintained estates. We did the landscaping, the cleaning. We did their cars. They paid a fee every month, and we just took care of all of their estate, with their home estate, not their, paper estate or their financial estate, but their physical home, their mansions, their homes. So, and we did a lot of that. Of course, a lot of my clients, believe it or not, you guys, were Jewish, and a lot of them were in Overland Park. Now, I'm not saying the Jewish guys did, but I know a lot of my other clients and mentors from SCORE and Kaufman, all of a sudden they started rocking these Republican stickers. This is way back in Bush election, before he won the first time, right? So I started asking, and I was young. I was just a Democrat because my parents are Democrats, but I understood the whole thing. But I realized a lot of the folks that were already have been helping me throughout the years that I didn't know until the election season were popping up with these Republican stickers. And so I looked into the Republican Party, and I realized, business and and lower taxes. And if, I'm a business guy, I got an LLC. I want to have a corporation. I don't want to pay a bunch in taxes. So it made sense. Now, mind you, back then, you guys, Trump was a freaking Democrat, right? So I started seeing Trump. I went to the Trump Academy, and all of his CDs. I got his ties, everything. But they really didn't help a lot of us at that time. You didn't see a lot of wealthy Democrats at that time, in my opinion, helping a lot of us minority entrepreneurs. You didn't, and I don't mean physically helping us. I mean, when you went to the SBA for a loan or things like that, just by default, somehow it was a lot of Republicans that were in those programs, on the boards of those programs, the trustees of those programs. They were the ones that a lot of the coaches and the volunteer consultants who used their own money, their own time. They paid for lunches when we met on their own dime. When they did that, it was like, wow, okay, what are Republicans about? And mind you, most of my clients are wealthy in Overland Park, Kansas. So I didn't live in Kansas at the time, but I would drive there and we'd have clients there. And I had a whole team and staff of, houseboys and maids and all that stuff. So that's how I became a Republican. But it had nothing to do with Trump. And Trump, that whole mentality of daddy gave you money, and mind you, the whole dating a porn star and paying off porn stars and having 3-4 wives, that was not Republican back in the day. Republicans were the ones in the cute little homes and the subdivisions that you admired the Republicans because they were the ones with the money. They really had that, that they were the not. I want to say the word conservative, but I guess you would say conservative. The ones I knew them personally. I managed their estates, so I knew. They partied, they drank, they smoked, they had a good time. They were just conservative on the outside. They were real people. But what I saw was they were the ones who helped entrepreneurs. They were the ones that were pushing because they didn't like welfare and all that crap. They didn't like food stamps. So they were more like, well, let me invest in programs like SCORE, like the Kaufman Foundation, things like that. So then I realized, well, that's what I want. I don't need food stamps. I need contracts for my company. I need to have the whole minority supplier situation refixed because I need to have that. So what I did was I switched over and I voted one time for Bush, one time. And mind you, I voted for Bush back then while a lot of folks are actually voting for Trump. I wanted to see how would a business guy or a rich guy, how would he do it? It would be different. He's not political, right? How would he do it? So I wanted to kind of see about that. And that's why I did it. But I learned my lesson back then. Bush wasn't as bad as Trump. And Trump, mind you, again, he wasn't a Republican. So that's so confusing to me. His lifestyle is totally Democrat, totally liberal. You're telling me that dating porn stars and having 3-4 wives and mail order bride type women that are around you and all your friends are crooks. I thought that was more like Democrats, to be honest. Nothing wrong with Democrats. Don't get me wrong. I like to party and have a good time myself. But I saw that as being a situation where, how do you say it? Like, I saw that actually as normal. It wasn't a big deal. I grew up in California, you guys. I mean, my family's were from the Midwest, but we grew up in California. I grew up overseas, very liberal music, business, family, entrepreneurial business, music family. My grandmother's a jazz singer still to this day. My dad managed folks and marketed folks for like Babyface back in the day, Troop. We opened all the Troop stores. My family was in construction as well. We're the ones that opened all the Troop stores back in the day. You know, my auntie in Las Vegas, Auntie Paula, shout out to you. She's still doing events and entertainment and networking events and things like that in Las Vegas. So it wasn't like we were some conservative family. Maybe a little bit, you know, we weren't gangsters. We wasn't hip hop. They weren't like that. My dad doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. I do, but he didn't. My mom doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. You know, she may have some wine sometimes, but I do. And my sister does. But one sister doesn't do that. But still, that wasn't the reason. And Trump being a Democrat was kind of my reason for thinking back then. So that's why I switched and I voted for Bush, because I wanted to see something different than what I had seen. Because my father, one thing, he was a Democrat. But my father, one thing he has always said, he's still alive, one thing he has always said my entire life to me is that, son, our family business always does better when Republicans are in office. He's always said that. He didn't know about no Trump. He doesn't like the situation that Trump is in. But Trump before was a Democrat. The way that he thought, the way that he feels about separating and things like that, his outward racism, that was not the Republican Party. You know, you didn't hear about the KKK and all these things, members being in the Republican Party. You didn't even hear about many, from my experience, police officers and things like that, even military. I was a Republican. I'm a former U.S. Air Force guy, right? I was one of the only ones that was Republican because I had a business outside of the Air Force. You didn't hear about that. So it surprised me when he switched. And he first went to whatever the no label, then he went to Republican. So it kind of shocked me. So today I want to talk about you guys this. We're trying to get David in here. I see you in the comments, David. You guys can chat with me live here in the comments. I can see it. We're just going to have a nice little show today. We're only talking for about an hour and a half, you guys, or an hour, but we're late getting going. So about an hour and a half, you guys, be done here in an hour. But I wanted to touch base with you guys. Marix, thank you very much. David, I do see you. You can PM me, David, because I see you in the comments, but I can't do anything in the comments. You got to PM me there, and let's get you in this conversation. But you guys understand one thing, and if you guys really don't understand this, I want to show you and remind something to you. A lot of people are asking, well, what about, Black folks, and what's so different, and how is it so different for them? And, everyone's acting like these lines and all of these things that are happening for Black folks right now, that they're new or something like that. They're not realizing, people, are you out of your mind? Even me in my time, this is not new to us. This is not something that we don't get. Look at this, you guys. Check this out. This is what we're used to. I don't know what folks are talking about. I don't get the situation. I don't get what you mean. But you guys, this is the Sugar Shack, okay? Look at this line. Not one white person in that line at all. Back in the day, I'm going to give you another example I had, you guys. Back in the day, you guys, when it comes down to it, I remember distinctly when I would vote all my life. I voted all my life. And then later on in life, and look at this picture here, okay? Understand this. And this is still going on today. With all the technology America has, everyone is online. If they need to get you for owing taxes or for FBI, or if there's a warrant for your arrest, they can find you and they can verify it's you. But when you vote, you got to stand there in line. But let me tell you this real quick. When I had my clients in Overland Park, at one time, I bought a home in Overland Park. And to be close, I got successful. I leveled up and I got a home in Overland Park, you guys. Okay. So then after I did that, let me put these down here so you guys can see my face here. When I did that, you guys, one thing that I noticed after I got that home in Overland Park, and I was one of the first Black guys there, my business partner, you guys, was a white dude. Okay. And he was a white baseball player. So he was, a cool looking white dude, baseball player, former baseball player, my business partner. We lived in Overland Park, and there was three of us. It was a big place. It was a lady, a girl, white girl, me, and my business partner. We lived in Overland Park. And then I had a house in my regular place, but when I would work, I would stay there. So I transferred my voting at one time. I usually traveled a lot, but I was there. So I transferred my voting to Overland Park, and that's how I voted for Bush, right? I had never seen an easier, faster, cleaner, no lines, no stress way to vote until I voted at my own subdivision clubhouse in Overland Park, Kansas. There was no sugar shack. There was no church. There was no lines. There was no issue. There was cookies and coffee. And I walked in the clubhouse of my subdivision where I live. I mean, I just literally walked, around the corner on my leisure, and I walked into the clubhouse and I passed my ballot. Hey, Susie. Hey, Karen. And I voted for Bush that first time. I'd never seen that before. I had never, ever seen that before. It shocked me because remember, I had also been with my family and also voted with my mom, for example, at church or at the locations in the hood before, and not in Kansas, but in Kansas City, Missouri, which is a nearby state, right? I was shocked. I mean, people were dressed up. They were cute. They rolled up. They parked the car. There was front parking. They went in, and I noticed that. And this is the first election for Bush. So when you see these pictures like this right here on the screen, you guys, when you see that picture, this is what Black folks are talking about. They're calling it voter suppression and all those things because they're hoping that Black folks won't wait. They will go home or they can't leave work. They only got an hour for lunch and they're voting like I did in Overland Park, Kansas. I went in. I don't remember how I zip done. They are used to this and they don't understand. This is how exactly, David's chiming in, but David, you got to get in the show. It's designed that way, and it is so designed that way, you guys. But understand one thing: this is where the negative side, where the flip side of racism, and this is where I think that white American racists have really dug themselves into a hole that they can never get out. Okay, understand something: racism is only a temporary fix. It does two things. One, it makes white Americans think that they're better off or more successful or more secure or more independent than they really are. They don't realize, no, you only have that position because no one else besides a white man could apply for that position. You're not competing with women. You're not competing with Blacks or Filipinos or Mexicans or Puerto Ricans or Muslims or Catholics or, you weren't doing that. Back in the day, even Jewish dudes, Italian dudes, they weren't even in the room that much. So all of that time, even though there were a lot of successes and things that happened, I think that a lot of people see with Trump that at the end of the day, they just slapped their name on it. There were people that behind the scenes, even Trump, the people who are building his freaking golf courses, not him. He's not a developer like my father. My father wore combat boots. He wore suits too. He was sharp as hell. He's still sharp as hell. We had a ranch in California with horses. We were English horseback riding. We competed, all of that. My baby sister, Alana, shout out to you, honey. She has a salon in Texas. We're a business family, but during the day, he wore combat boots. He knew how to build everything. He was a real builder. But they realize now they just slapped their name on it. So that racism, like this, for example, look at this picture. We have been tuned from the beginning to go through and do this. So now, for example, just like racism, we were used to competing 10 times, doing double the work as you to get the job. You don't need a degree, but we have a degree and we have a master's degree. You don't need anything. Trump has no experience, but the Black dude had tons of experience. Talking about Obama, for example. The first lady of Trump, she's a white girl who was pretty much, I won't say a porn star, but at least a spread star. Whereas the Black woman, who Obama's wife, is the most educated woman ever to be a first lady in the White House ever in history. But no one talks about that. And they don't realize that's going to be your demise. You have conditioned us, and you see this picture. There is no sugar shack today. This is way back in the day. You have conditioned us to work harder, to do more. You've conditioned us to be that way. You've conditioned us to be able to fight for our rights to vote and all of that stuff. That's what you've done. And that is going to that's going to hurt you in the future. That is going to hurt you in the future. It's going to make it to where you are not going to understand, yeah, we can stand in the rain, the sleet, the hail, not the dissipations. Trying to get David in here, you guys. Let's see here. David, you got to go to your browser, put that in there, man, and come on in the show, brother. Go to your browser and knock that in there. But you guys understand the bad thing about the situation with the racism is a thing where you guys you've done yourself a disservice, because now we don't expect anything less than this picture. We expect to be in lines. That's why I saw one guy bash me on my comments. I posted a video of I shared a video actually of a voting area where they had Black folks voting in lines like this. Of course, it was today, right? Lines like this, and they were out there, they were out there marching, and they were out there, marching Cobras and DJ and all this stuff, and they don't realize that's what you have done. That's what you've done. You've made it to where now we are so conditioned that if you ever do not suppress our vote, every Black person who can vote will vote. They're going to go there now. The Democrats are finally waking up and realizing some things that all of a sudden, you guys, they realize, okay, wow, okay. When it comes down to it, I see now, here's another one, you guys, I want to show you here to show you how important this is, right? We've been doing this a long time, y'all. This ain't new. This is not new to us at all. And the disservice that you guys are understanding that you guys are doing to yourself, to me, in my opinion, is that you guys are making it to where racism really makes you weaker. You're not used to competing. You may not be able to stand in line for 3 hours or 4 hours, and you're not be used to it. We are, and we do. So eventually, when the racism is gone, minorities are conditioned to stand there anyway. They're going to already have the bans booked. Democrats, like I said, they're waking up and realizing they need to have food and coffee and food trucks outside, marching bands. That's what they're doing right now. I see you there, David. David says this is a voter suppression intimidation. Yes, it is. It's totally this is what they're saying when they talk about suppression, you guys. This is what they mean. That's what they're talking about. You guys may not understand it and realize it, that you guys, it shouldn't be that hard to vote, that we're the number one country in the world. We got all the technology in the world. What is so damn hard about casting a vote? What is hard about it? I don't get it. I don't understand what is so hard about it. And that's the part that people need to realize and understand and see that, okay, if they're suppressing my vote, which now they're finally waking up in America and realizing that they can suppress my vote, they can suppress their vote. They can suppress everyone's vote. They can make it hard for you. They can make it to where, you can make it to where you can't vote. So I think it's one of those things where you guys, I'm trying to bring up another picture because I want to show you a couple of these to show you about the importance of voting, because when it comes down to it, you guys, my grandmother did it. My great grandmother did it. We are so conditioned for this. I'm so proud of my people for getting out there and really like showing these folks like, no, hell, you're not going to suppress my vote. I'm so glad to see Black folks DJing and partying, and the bashers that are bashing on me, talking about the videos that I share, that why am I showing that it's a disgrace and all this kind of stuff. No, it ain't. One, voting should be fun. That's one thing. Two is that you did this to yourself. You did this to yourself. And then they say here, I see David, you got you another one here. Yeah, I see you, David. No American should need to stand in line for 3, 4, 5, 6, or even 10 hours. None. We are the #1 economy in the world, you guys. We are online. Everything is online. And look at this one. You guys, you think I'm not talking anything? Look, it happened there in black and white pictures. Look at this, you guys. Come on now. That's my grandmother sitting there, or my mom, actually. Wasn't that long ago. We're used to this, y'all. We're used to it. This is going to be the problem that America is going to see right now, is you're going to have an issue to where you have conditioned people, black people, to where we overachieve for everything. That's what you're showing right now. You're going to see black folks out there because we overachieve for everything. We vote because we know the power of voting, you guys. Sorry, David. We're trying to get David online, y'all. I apologize, David. My goodness, Lord have mercy. We had David on the show before. David is actually coming back. So we had a little issue, I think, if I remember right, before. He had to switch from his laptop to his phone and all this kind of stuff like that. I'm in the Philippines Islands, you guys. If you guys are just tuning in, David, of course, is in Washington, D.C., where a lot of this crap is going down, you guys. But you guys, let me tell you this real quick. This is the racist flaw that I see from living abroad, especially through Corona and all that crap, you guys. I left after the recession of 2008. I was tired of it. I needed a break. I outsourced my business, you guys. I got everything online. I got my website set up. I did funneling and online sales and marketing way back in the day before it was popular right now. And I was ahead of the curve, and thank you, God, for that insight. But I did it because I was just frustrated with it. And one thing I've seen since then, because I'm on the outside looking in, racism, the blessing that racism is for Black Americans, because I see Blacks from Africa, Blacks from Australia, Blacks from Asia, Blacks from Singapore. Black folks are everywhere. Whoever tells you that Black folks weren't the first in the earth or whatever, that might be true, but it sure in the hell seems like it, because every race I've lived in, their origins go back to Black. Australia, the Aborigines are really Black. Africa, of course, is very Black. If you go back, even Asia, the Aitas are really Black. You guys, if you go anywhere in the world, even American Indians go back to Black folks. So one thing that they've done specifically with racism in America that I see in no other Black race or race of Blacks around the world, I see why we have all the Beyoncés and all the Jay-Z's and the Oprahs and the Tyler Perry's and all the way to Muhammad Ali's and Michael Jackson's. I see why. It's because racism fucks you up. Because what you do is you make a race of people that are already strong already, used to overcompensating for basic shit. That's what happens. So when you travel the world as an American, for example, and you leave and you're a white racist person, for example, you never really, you don't know how to compete usually. It's hard for you because you've never had to really compete against everybody, and then in the States now you've got people like Black folks that are very talented, very successful, because they've always had to overachieve. And I take that back to voting, because you have these people who are conditioned for this. You've bred a race of people, a generation of people that they have money, they have cars, they can go get McDonald's, they can put a tent, they got chairs now. We're not standing in line at the front door of the Sugar Shack like before. They got DJs out there, they're dancing in the street. You can't just stand there by the ballot box with your guns anymore. You can't do all that anymore. And if you do it, we don't give a damn. We're going to vote. And the reason we're going to vote is because we know that our voice needs to be heard. Because what people don't realize about voting, you guys, is that I remember when my father, who's still alive and well, pretty well, who protested in California, in San Diego, on University Avenue, many other places, Skyline Avenue, all over California, to get minority contracts when they were building San Diego State and UCLA and all of those places. They weren't hiring Blacks or Mexicans, minorities in general. They would go there and picket. I get out of school. My dad would pick me up in his truck, right? He wasn't like Trump. He was a contractor who really worked for his money. I would sit in the car. I'd do my homework. He'd be out there protesting in front of whatever the hell it was. I remember in Hillcrest, California, before it was Hillcrest and the gay city, I remember when I was in high school when they fired a gay guy or a Bakla guy from a Chevron station, if I remember right, a gas station in Hillcrest. The gays boycotted and protested that station to where now all of a sudden, now they got all the rich gays together and they literally bought, and the lesbians bought North Park next door. So now they bought the entire city, redeveloped it with the Ralph's, superstore and all that kind of crap, all the stores, to where now it is literally a gay city. You've got a different situation, and you've got people with minorities. When you discriminate against people and you hold them with their vote, as you see, it backfires. You tell a kid, don't do that, don't smoke that, don't drink that, don't go there. What the hell are they going to do? You tell Negroes in America again, don't come, don't vote. Your vote doesn't matter. We're in line for 4, 5, 6, 10 hours, as David said. We are going to vote in more numbers, more. And that's what we're seeing here. That's what we're seeing here, you guys. You guys are live on the set. You guys know that I make this happen because we have fantastic sponsors, you guys. No doubt about it. You guys know this happens because of you guys' love. I do these shows weekly. I put these together and I go through and I try to just give you guys some insights on things that affect entrepreneurs and business people. A lot of folks think I get a little bit political, but it's not really political to me. It's more of a situation where I'm an entrepreneur. I want to be honest with you. I became a Republican years ago because Republicans at that time were the party of business, the party of teaching you how to make money, teaching you how to fish, not fish. They left that. They changed that crap. And as soon as I get back to the States, I'm switching my party. I don't know what I'm going to be. But unless they change their tune, but they have shown their asses through this whole Trump thing, because remember, and every black person out there, you guys know why we like Trump. I went to his academy. You know what his book? I bought the first book, The Art of the Deal. And mind you, everything that he's done that you guys are mad at him about was in the damn book. It was always in the book. He was telling you, to him, bankruptcy was a tool to not pay bills. I'm sure all those banks, all those people that he didn't take care of, he paid them. He didn't pay the company. He paid them personally, paid them off, the same as the porn stars. But it was in his damn book. And as a black business person, I want to know how a dude that bankruptcies and loses every damn thing is still, at that time, a multimillionaire. Another book that he did with Robert Kiyosaki, who Robert Kiyosaki stays quiet, but Robert Kiyosaki likes Trump a lot too. Okay, Robert Kiyosaki believes in the whole Trumpism thing too. He just stays his ass quiet. But they had a book, We Want You to Be Rich. That was all about all the loopholes they're talking about. That's all it's about. I learned a lot from that crap. And then, of course, he went back up again, had commercials about it, joking about him in the dumpster. He's always been a guy that understood the power of the media. He just wasn't supposed to be president, because you can't bankruptcy, which they're doing, a country and then just write things off, print more money. Then he wrote The Art of the Comeback. The Art of the Comeback, I read that book 15 times because after 2008, I had to come back. We were all fucked up. He's good for that. He can tell you how to fuck up and come back. So a lot of blacks, and mind you, they may not say it, but a lot of Americans, especially white dudes, he lives their dream life. That's why they support him. They wish they could fuck models and porn stars. They wish they could figure out how to bankruptcy all the crap they have and then walk away and be the president of America. They wish they could do that. They love the tax breaks, because one thing about rich folks that have businesses like me, we know exactly how much our taxes are going to be, if any. He paid $750 in taxes in the United States that they released the year of his election. So 4 years ago, they got his records, right? He paid more taxes here in the Philippines for his buildings and towers here than he paid in the United States for all the shit he has. Think about that. Think about that. And now with him in office, no one notices this. But before, Here in Asia, here in the Philippines, for example, $1 was about 55, 60, somewhere in there. I was hoping it was going to go up to 70 when Obama was rolling. I mean, the American economy was great. It was booming, not just at home for working class people, but booming in general. So when I transferred money or I made money, for example, and invested dollars into other economies, the dollar was strong. Nowadays, you guys, we're rocking 40, I hope. I got to check. It's probably 40 today, maybe even 38 today. It's down. The dollar is not as strong as it used to be, which no one really cares about that, but they're going to carry eventually, because the reason it's down is because the belief in the American economy is down. The world does not like racism. And the reason that people need to vote and really get out there and be part of it is because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, people need to understand that it's a thing where everything that every minority, including women, have are because of Black folks for the most part, and maybe gay folks protesting and voting. That's it. The fact that every woman out there can buy a house or have a credit card is because of us. Well, because of Gingrich, who recently died, by the way. But mainly I'm saying it wasn't given to you from the beginning. If you hadn't protested and then voted on it, you wouldn't have it now. The fact that women can even be on the jury in a courtroom. I mean, come on now. That's from protesting and voting. That's why no one convicts women nowadays of being witches. I mean, because now women are on the freaking room. They can't just say, Trump just can't say, oh, that porn star is a whore, don't listen to her. Because now there's women on the jury. There's women that are in powerful places. That's why it happens. So when you guys don't understand the voting and understand what it means and why we're all in lines, why we're absentee ballot voting and all that stuff, you missed the whole fact of it. So if you guys are out there, you can chime in, tell me your opinion, because I believe, to be honest, that all the situation with the racism, discrimination, the whole Trump thing, if you look at it back in the day when these pictures were here, folks were sitting up here. It was Black folks protesting. That's it. Black folks complaining in America. Now the whole world was protesting with Black people during the whole police shootings and things like that, which are not ended, by the way. Just had another shooting last week. So it's like, I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's helping us. Now more Black folks have voted than there were slaves when we got free. By far, double have already voted, which is their biggest fear in the beginning. And I don't know how many women have voted yet. So women and Blacks weren't even in the equation back in the day. Hence why there's electoral college. They knew this was happening, so they put that checks and balances in place to kind of give them an edge. But now that edge, we're learning. We're learning how it works. We're learning how important it is. And now the whole world, including Black folks in America, we have seen what a Trump administration can do. Yeah, he's got Lil Wayne and all those guys supporting him, and no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Those guys, are supporting him and all that great stuff. I don't know what Kanye West is talking about, but I don't get the whole thing with those guys. I really don't. I really look at it in the sense that I think that back, like when I became a Republican, you guys, it was mainly because of that time. It was about taxes and business and things like that. And these guys are really in business, and they understand that now. This is Kanye here, you guys, with his little red hat on. Nowadays, you guys, folks are realizing that, oh my God, if I make $1 million, they literally get 150,000 off the top, period. And they're not happy about that. That's why they're leaving California and they're going to Texas, for example. But of course, Texas is crazy Republican and all that crap. So a lot of folks don't like that either. So that's an issue. But you guys, I don't understand why they would go public with it to be. Yep, I got, I hear Henry. Henry says nothing that's happening in America that's strange to we niggas. It was just a matter of time. November 3rd, get ready. Yeah, I agree, you guys, that when it comes down to it, okay, we're getting David in here now, y'all. We getting them together now. When it comes down to it, I really do understand one thing is that when it comes to it, when it comes down to the situation, you guys, they have really made it worse for themselves because now everyone sees the power of it. If our vote didn't matter, why would they fight so hard to keep niggas away from voting? Right? If our vote didn't matter and it was no big deal, why would they do that? What would it matter? What would it be? Why would anyone care about it? And so now I understand something that when it comes down to it, these folks really need to understand that voting, you guys, voting is something that we have done and we are very good at it. If you're in America, voting lines, I know brothers making hot plates, they making drinks. They got DJ outside the church. They got dancing, marching cobras dancing and entertaining everybody for 10 hours. They got folks standing in line, going, taking the kids back, then get back in line. Because no black person, when we line up, it ain't like we're lining up for Jordans. But put that over here a little bit. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, a little bit closer. Yeah. Get my light here. Let me see it. Yeah, I'm going to get some more light in the situation here. Here you go, you guys. What I see when it comes down to it is you guys are conditioning black folks to overachieve in every single way just to have basic. Do you know that when I left America originally and outsourced my business, when the shackles of racism were off of me and I could like be free and like get out there and really have a good time and just enjoy my life? Oh my God. I spent the first 5 years abroad just fucking chilling out the rat race. I don't mean the rat race from working home. I mean that rat race too, but the Negro rat race. The fact that I didn't have to worry about what I wore to the bank. True, real talk. The fact that I didn't have to worry about whether my hair was dreadlocked, whether I had a beard or not. I didn't want to be pulled over and I'm thinking I was one of those brothers. When that was off of me, I could just sprint. But I chose to chill out because I'm a little older now. I chose to chill out just to like, oh my God, just recharge my batteries. Now these folks, they're just, anyway, you guys, live on the set, you guys are really liking this. And on Facebook, I appreciate it. YouTube, we're live as well, you guys. I'm going to go to a commercial break. We are sponsored by great people. If you happen to be in Malolo City, you guys, one of our favorite fantastic sponsors here is Rapidi, you guys. They have an oil change right now. They also have a promo, you guys, by the way. I gotta make some, this pays the bills, y'all. I gotta go ahead and say to them, they have a really thing. When you get a free auto car sanitation when you get an oil change, and the oil change is only 899 pesos, by the way. So go figure, you guys. So in the meantime, I'm gonna check on David. You guys enjoy this spot from Rapidi Malolos. You guys, if you're in Malolos this weekend, it's a holiday today for you. Go and get your oil change and go to Rapidi. What's up, you guys? Cream Jackson live on the set for Budokan Lifestyle Magazine, and we are live here, you guys. Budokan, the quarantine is like semi-lifted, right? So you in your car, you cruising, and you need you an oil change. You've got to get your car right, you guys. We have one of the 500 best of Budokan, best favorite things. Rapidi, you guys. MacArthur Highway, they have such great service, you guys. They're one of our 500 favorite of Budokan, 100 best of Budokan. They're one of our favorite places to go, and check it out, you guys. We were here. It is so nice, so fresh, so clean. Rapidi Express, you guys. They're located on MacArthur Highway, you guys. Get your car oil change done, and guess what, you guys? It's only 899 pesos. So no worry, less than 1,000 pesos. Look at these reviews, you guys. Don't believe us. Maui said it, Ned said it, Ken said it, Daniel said it, Carr said it, Carol said it, Ponce said it. Everyone says that this place is so awesome. 0945-369-0888. You guys, 899 pesos. Rapidi, you guys. Go check them out. But hey, COVID-19, we got you covered, you guys. You're in that car. How do you know it's clean? How do you know it's disinfected? How do you know that your kids are safe? Your employees are safe? Roll down to this place for 249 pesos, you guys. Rapidly will disinfect your car. 0945-369-0888,
What
you guys.
waiting for?
Hey, local small business owners, entrepreneurs, and celebrities. Hey, you guys, I've got a secret to tell you. Go get that promo. Check this out. K&Co has a new website promo for $350. That's just 15,000 pesos, and your small business can have a fantastic website. You know how the guys are beating you out there, how they're getting customers, how they're online. Despite anything, they can keep going. They can still reach customers. People can still buy, see their stuff. Here, you guys, I've got the secret. They can still do it because they're reaching their clients online with their fantastic website. The promo, you guys, is just 15,000 pesos, $350. You can showcase your products and reach the world. Go get that promo. Say what?
Go get that promo.
Go get that promo. Welcome back, you guys. That was Rapid, you guys. They have been supporting us for quite a while. We appreciate all the love and all that great stuff with them, you guys. We're still trying to get David in here. We may have to do another show and bring him in for a show after the election. Maybe, you know, some drama after the election. But you guys, if you guys have any questions, you can also yeah, you know, they're showing me too, you guys, that Facebook is like not happy about our conversation. I got some Facebook descriptions that it's telling me, yeah. So if you guys can't comment right now, it's saying that Facebook has blocked the profile due to Facebook restrictions. Yeah. But anyway, you guys, I just want to really just reiterate, you guys, how the importance of it is. If you guys are out there, you guys have till Wednesday to get out there and vote. If you guys are listening to me in America, please go out, exercise your right to vote. If you're one of the 3 million people of the 8.7 million expats of us that live out here abroad, I hope that you guys went out there and voted. Also, you guys, hope that you guys did that, because in the day, that's really, really important, because everything that we do in the States, which is really, really sad to understand this. It's sad that women couldn't buy a home unless they voted. It's really sad that Black folks, you know, we couldn't drink from water fountains. We couldn't live in certain areas. We couldn't even vote, for example, and let it without a protest and a vote. We had to push things to happen. I think that's very sad. I do understand a lot of folks that do support, you know, the Republican Party right now. But the issue with the Republican Party is that it's become the party of racism, discrimination. It's not just about business anymore. It's gotten to be where it's all about us versus them. You know, no one is just an American anymore, which is why I think when I switch my party, I'm just going to go, you know, nonpartisan, because I'm an American. That's it. I really don't. I voted for Democrats. I voted for Republicans. I've been a Democrat. I've been a Republican. You know, and my family are a Democratic family, you guys. But as I said before, they always told me when I was a kid that they do better financially with our family businesses when the Republican is in office. They didn't vote for a Republican, at least that I know of, but they would always say that they did better when there was a Republican in office. So that got my attention. It wasn't why I became a Republican. I became a Republican because my business started doing better when I was younger in the States. I mean, younger, like 20, 30, like that, you know, because I noticed that the people that were mentoring me and coaching me were, you know, they were Republican people. I was surprised. I see you there. You got to type it in the comments here. I see you there, but yeah, they've just told us, you guys are on Face. I'm not sure where this is. Yeah, maybe that's, yeah, Facebook, you guys. Facebook has blocked some of the comments. They've got a delay. What they're doing is they're watching our conversation. I think that's my title, you guys. So the delay that you're seeing is because Facebook is delaying me so they can probably monitor us and see what we're talking about. But again, you guys, understand something. Go out and vote. If you guys have a business, if you guys are anything in entertainment, if you guys know where they're voting, go out and support these folks and get them food, give them some entertainment, go out and give them some bottled water. If you guys are a store or a restaurant, sponsor lunches. Make sure that all these folks see that Black folks and minority folks, whether you put us in line for 10 hours or 10 minutes, we are going to vote. We're going to have a good time doing it because it's better than being slaves in the field. And I'll tell you this too, is at the end of the day, we have got to get that man out of the office because it is really showing the ugly side of America. I get the tax breaks, but do you realize that when he leaves office, he's probably spent more money personally on himself and his cost than any other president in history? And then now you're going to get a taste of why his companies go bankrupt. One thing I realized a long time ago when I had Trump's Academy and Trump's books is that I didn't want to have that outcome that he had. That's why I stopped studying those guys. I didn't want to have the outcome. I didn't want to have 15 different marriages failed. I didn't want to have, it wasn't worth it to me. I had a chance in 2008 when 2008, yeah, I see you, David. Maybe they're blocking you from joining. Maybe there's no way to join. Facebook is acting very weird today, you guys. I'm not sure why. Yeah, they're asking me what's happening to Facebook. You guys can go to our YouTube channel, you guys. Kareem Jackson live on the set on YouTube. Maybe they are blocking you on David because they're giving me alerts here where they're delaying my comments as well. I do see your comments from Facebook. Let me go. Let me put this on screen here. Where are we at? Boom. Okay. Yeah, that's from my Facebook. Okay. What I can do though, David, let me do this real quick because I want to get your information on here real quick, you guys. I want you guys to hear David because you guys, he's got really good minds, you guys. Let me put this here in just 1 second. David, I'm going to do a little ghetto brother thing here real quick. We're going to call David, you guys. Hello, David? You there? You there, David? I'm calling you on Facebook. Well, they really Facebook is having issues today, baby. I know we're probably have a weak signal here. Yeah, maybe the internet. But you guys, my point, what I was saying was, is that when it comes down to it, you there, David? Oh,
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, David. Can you hear me? Hello, David.
I can hear you great. It's great.
Okay, well, what I'm just going to do is I'm going to be like your little ghetto fabulous. I'm just going to hold my phone to the microphone while we chit chat. I had to do
great.
that
That's
with
great.
They cut me off on David Haley too when he was on here, Senator Haley. They blocked him too. I had to do the same thing.
Well, Kareem, I am very pleased to be here and finally to be here.
I feel you. I'm going to get your picture on here and screen so they can see who you are. But go ahead, David. So you were saying here that you're biased with Biden to win, but you want everyone to vote and da 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 da. I mean, I'm biased
Yes.
too, but remember, you may not know this, David. I'm a Republican for a long time. I never voted for Trump at all.
And that causes me, yes, and that causes me great concern. But we've spoken about that before. I do agree with you that the Republican you were when you voted for George Bush, that party does not exist any longer.
Exactly.
The party that exists now is the Trump party. I'm convinced while most Republicans say they are not racist and they don't support racism or anything like that, the problem is that all of the racists support Republicans. And that's, unless and until they deal with that issue, it's going to be very difficult to attract large numbers of African Americans.
Mm-hmm. And that's
You
what
know,
I see. I see that like I said to you, David, I'm in my defense, and I'll let you just finish what you were saying. It was not like this when I was a Republican. I joined. It was nothing.
I agree.
I knew these white folks. I worked with them. I was a scorer. You know, it wasn't that it wasn't even about you being black. I never heard the nigger word. It wasn't about that. It was color wasn't even an issue at that time for me. In business, and besides racism, discrimination, redlining, things like that, systematic racism. But it was more about, at that time, business, taxes, and things like that, as opposed to social programs.
I agree with.
Go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say I agree with you. Back then, you had people like Jack Kemp. You had people who were interested in broadening the base of the Republican Party to include minorities, and to make the party more compassionate and more understanding of other groups, as it were, and that's gone now. There is no attempt at outreach to the African American population in particular, except in the past, 30 days, 40 days, when Lil Wayne and 50 Cent and Ice Cube and those guys, kind of jumped on board, but I haven't seen a great deal of outreach to our community in particular over the past 4 years. In fact, I've seen quite the opposite.
And mind you, even when I joined, they weren't outreaching to me. It was a situation where it was like I wanted to learn. Yeah,
you were part of it.
Yeah, I wanted to learn. And let me tell you this too, David. I went to Trump Academy. I had Trump's books. I didn't like the way he did business and stuff. And he was a Democrat.
Right.
So,
right.
And back then, this is back when he said that what did he say? It was back when he said the Republicans were the stupidest party, in America.
Yes. What he said was, if I ever ran for president, I would run as a Republican because they're stupid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now whether they're stupid or not, is up for debate. But he ran as a Republican, and he wiped the floor with all of the Republicans with a
mm-hmm.
public persona and public policies that were not in tune with what had been known to be Republican, priorities before.
Mm-hmm.
And the party has gone along with it. And I even feel sorry for them, because if he loses, if Trumpism is repudiated in 2 days, where will they go?
Who, the Republicans, you mean?
Yes. What will be left of the party? There is no party.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's not gonna, there's no party, bro. I mean,
well, there was no, they didn't even have a platform this year. Their
mm-hmm.
platform was Donald Trump. No policies.
Yeah.
Just Trump.
Yeah. And no other alternate, no other, we're going to give you all the tax breaks you want, but no racism, and I'll tell you what I'm surprised about, and you can tell me this because you're in DC, is that I never knew that there were this many racists still in America. I never knew that mentality, that way of seeing things was still so strong in America, period, any party.
Well, Kareem, I just have to part company with you a little bit on that, because I have witnessed over the course of probably 30 years at least, where the party has aggressively pursued policies, except that brief period with George W. Bush when he said, I wanted to be a compassionate conservative. I want to broaden the base. I want to
mm-hmm.
include Hispanics. I want to reach out to the Hispanic community because they are a, traditional kind of population that believes in traditional values and would be amenable to the kinds of views that the Republican Party has.
Yeah.
Well, they did that briefly.
Yeah, that's what they got me.
Brief.
Now, mind you,
And
I voted for Bush one time. That's it.
Right.
And the only reason I voted for Bush is that I did not like Jim Carrey or John Kerry.
Right.
I didn't like him. And I met him personally. Like, I was in media in the States at that time, at a magazine at that time, and we were featuring him. So we went to meet him at a rally. They got a picture. I got the picture. I never even posted the picture. I wasn't proud of it. I was like, okay, whatever. Here I am, a black dude busting my butt for my business, wearing a suit and tie. And then you come up here to meet me and you have khakis and a polo shirt on. It kind of offended me a little bit in a weird way. You know what I'm saying? And I was you can just do that? I mean, and this was a big event. It wasn't like a home, it was an event, and I got to go backstage. And I was, that turned me off. And I said, I want something new. I want something new. And I voted for him one time, though. He didn't get me the second time. And I never voted for Trump once. And I voted for Obama twice. So in my defense, bro.
And I appreciate that. Listen, in 1980, that gives you an idea of how old I am. But in 1980, I voted in the Republican primary for George W. Bush's father because I was from Texas. I had known of his father. I knew his father was a decent guy. I wasn't as politically astute as I am now, but at the time, I thought he was a perfectly reasonable person to, become the president, to follow Ronald Reagan. To follow Jimmy Carter. I was a little disappointed with Jimmy Carter, and I wanted to give George H.W. Bush a shot. Now, that was in the primary. In the election, after H.W. Bush lost to Reagan in the primary, I then voted for Jimmy Carter in the general election.
Okay.
Because I did not like Ronald Reagan.
You know what's funny is they called me a Reagan era baby. I used to wear the paisley socks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But my family was a Democratic family. I mentioned before when we were on the air, but my dad always said, which I do see now, why they're getting these nouveau rich black folks, right? Like Kanye West, like Lil Wayne, and the other ones. Because at the end of the day, yeah, Republicans are more on tax breaks and business and things like that, which is why I liked them in the beginning too. I wouldn't go against my own people or my own party for them, but I did understand that as a business person, usually we would do better on the Republican government. But now you have Democrats like Oprah, like, Tyler Perry, big, rich black Democrats now, right? That say, okay, they're doing just fine. And mind you, like I said before, Trump at that time was a Democrat. I did not like how he did business. I didn't like it. I studied it and it was cool. And I learned a lot from it. And it did save the education saved my butt. But at the end of it, I decided not to bankruptcy in 2008, which is what he taught about, and hiding your money in real estate. And I decided to go ahead and, figure it out. Right. And I figured it out. And mind you, black folks can't do what white folks can do either.
Well, let me also push back a little on that, because the reason I think Oprah and Tyler Perry and people like that are Democrats is because they recognize that but for Democratic policies over the course of the last 80 years, they would never have had the opportunity to become those people. It is directly related to those policies that have allowed African Americans and other minorities, including Filipinos and everyone, to participate in this economic system. It is Democratic policies that have allowed for it. Where Republicans give you tax breaks, Democrats give you the opportunity to play in the field. They insist on diversity. They insist on inclusion. They insist on being a part of the economic part of it, the share of government contracting, the share of supply chain distribution systems. They insist on being a part of banking and investment banking and private equity and the money. That's why Oprah and those people support Democrats, because they're in those policies. They support those policies, and it's not disconnected. And I'm going to take the editorial. Take some editorial license here and say the reason Lil Wayne and Ice Cube and those people, I think it's purely economics for them. And for me, the reason I do what I do is because I recognize that there were people before me who made these things possible. Whatever I do is as a result of someone else's shoulders I've stood upon. That's what's true. That's true. In the case of Republican Democratic politics, it is the Democrats, without question, who have been on the side of African Americans. They've failed miserably at times, no doubt. They've not been as aggressive as I would like at times, no doubt. But there's clearly a difference between the two and who has been champions of minority rights.
That's true. I understand. I got you on that one. I've noticed that more now, because before I wasn't as privy to it. And mind you, I didn't really think it mattered. Like, even if I was a Republican, let me tell you, you get in the club as a Republican. You have a card, right? So you get in the club, you get in the, and they, now that you're Republican, they support your business. And I cater to rich white families at that time, my business that I had. And so, and you're right, they did get, if you were in business, and I get that. But now, yeah, you're right. I understand that I wouldn't have had those issues, or wouldn't have been, had those opportunities if it weren't for democratic situations and democratic voting, democratic things that they pushed, and my mother included, my grandmother included, my sisters included.
Yeah. Prior to 1953, your mother could not have land have title to property in her own name. The reason she can do that now is because of Democrats and their policies, with Democratic presidents' signatures on bills at the end of the day. And that's what's most important. What is the signature? Whose signature is on a piece of legislation at the end of the day that becomes the law? And you will find, without question, it's not even a contest, that Democrats have been on the side of minorities, working people, the environment. At least now, initially Republicans were the environmentalists, and we can go all the way back to Teddy Roosevelt, but and they were also on the side of civil rights, the original Republicans. But you cannot rest on those laurels today, because Republican policies of the past, that's no longer the case. They are not on the side of the environment. They deny climate change. They are not on the side of civil rights. They encourage voter suppression and intimidation. They encourage strict constructionist judges who either, well, I'll get into that later.
I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And I'm, if you guys just tuning in right now, we had a little issue with everything recently with our getting David in. Facebook is slowing us down. There's like a 30-second delay, David. So Facebook is doing that. They sent me a message, actually. So not even a message from Facebook, or a message from my service telling me it's Facebook. You know,
Oh,
so
okay, great.
yeah. So if you just tuning in, you guys, to David Youngblood, he's in Washington D.C. right now. I call him so you could hear his voice. This would be great if you're looking to the podcast later. This will be a great voiceover for you anyway. You won't see the face anyway. I'm glad that you guys are here. We're talking about voting because you know in America, it's November 3rd is like just around the corner, literally 48 hours away. Angela Johnson, thank you for chiming in. I'm glad that you're there. I'm glad that you're looking at us on Facebook. So the messages are coming through now, and all that great stuff. And if you guys are out there, have any issues with voting or anything you talked about, we're going to be on here for a few more minutes. We're totally over time. I'm going to bug David for another 15 minutes. Okay, David?
Oh, yeah, that's great. Again, I apologize to your audience for my lack of technical skills. If I had anything to do with my inability to come in, then I'll take complete responsibility for it because I am not the most technically savvy person. It has to be just push the button, David. Push the button.
You know what it is. We're international now, and the COVID thing got us all remote. But it's a new browser. So maybe your browser is a little old. That's all, Uncle David. That's all. Maybe update that browser. But Facebook sent me a message, so I don't know what. I'm sure they'll tell me later. So it may not even been you at all, or may have been. Maybe it's okay now, but it wasn't okay before. So if you guys just watching, that's why Dave. I'm holding the phone in my hand on camera, and David's picture is up. You guys, and you guys can see who I'm talking to there. So, David, thank you, Angela. By the way, we said that you voted early. That is so good. What do you think, David? We are out here abroad as you used to be, but we're waiting for you to come back. All these people, black folks voting ahead of time. I mentioned earlier that racism has come to bite them in the ass because we are so used to showing up and showing out and overachieving. How do you compete with that?
I'm a little cautious about that because we're in this COVID environment. These people, these overwhelming numbers of people voting are encouraging. I just hope that there's a similar kind of showing out, as it were, on Tuesday. I don't want to drop off because I'm not sure if all that voting up front is going to be enough to overtake what Republicans will do on voting day. I don't want us to become complacent and those who have not voted fail to do so on Tuesday. It is critical that they show up. Go ahead.
But what about this then, Dave? What about, okay, so there's also black folks or minority folks or Democrats for that matter in general who probably haven't showed up also.
No. That is specifically
Yeah.
who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. So
I am specifically talking about African Americans because I'm hearing little words out there that suggest that perhaps in places like Miami-Dade County, they are not showing up in the numbers that they had hoped for in the early voting, and to the extent they have not showed up for that early voting, then it is imperative that they do so on Tuesday.
Because I've got folks that are on my pages that hate on me a lot for this Republican thing, and I also have other people that I know in business that have shows, and it's weird because in their perspective, they're the opposite. They're completely, opposite of what we're saying. They're saying, have you seen this? Have you seen that? If you think that Trump is going to lose, you guys are crazy. Like they're showing posts and things like that. They see it as they're totally ahead. There's no way he can win. Yada, yada, yada.
Part of this is psychology. Part of it is psychology. Okay. If I convince you that I am I'm sorry, someone actually tried to call me. I apologize. If I convince you that I'm way ahead and I'm going to beat you, maybe you'll feel depressed about it and not go out and vote. And I think that's part of it. I don't think there's any way Donald Trump is going to have a landslide victory. If anyone is going to have a landslide victory, it's going to be Joe Biden. I'm not suggesting that he's going to have one, but if there is one, it's going to be Joe Biden's. And I would also suggest that when I commented earlier about those black people in Miami-Dade County, if they show up on Tuesday and we get an announcement by, say, 11 o'clock on Tuesday, p.m., that Florida has gone to Biden, then I think it is going to be an historic night for Biden.
I think so too.
That's
I'm just going to ask you a little more deeper about that same thing. Like, what is so different about the America right? Because I'm not in America right now. So what is going on that's so polar different that people who are behind Trump, who see the same things I assume as we see, right? With the crowds and the rallies and the things like that, the support from, not just Lil Wayne and people like that and country singers and the marching, Chipettes, but see all celebrities, backing up, foreign nations, all of that stuff, right? Did they really believe that it's going to be a landslide for them? Like, I'm not saying this from news. These are people that I know that are on their shows, like we're on our shows, right? Saying we're killing it.
And
bigger turnouts. Like, what is that?
Yeah, well, I just don't believe that. I'm looking at those lines just like you're looking at those lines. And I'm looking at those people and I'm thinking, not all of those people are Trump supporters, particularly when you factor in the age demographics. I'm not talking about just age. My understanding with respect to, for example, Texas, there is a 600% increase from 4 years ago to today in the participation rate of young people. If that is anywhere near what is going on across the country, that's going to be a problem for Donald Trump. That is not, I think the majority of those votes are going to go to Biden, not to Trump.
I wrote an article a long time ago called the last great white hope, meaning about Trump, right? And I didn't predict this, but I really was thinking, like you're saying, like this next generation, you guys, and I didn't dream that Trump would be like he is now. I never dreamed it would be because, but now this new generation, which you see the ones out there protesting, those are not us. We're too old for that. Those are kids. Even the rioters are kids. Not kids, but you know what I mean. They're teenagers. They're 20-somethings, right? And I've got a lot of foreigners that are this year that are now Americans for the first time that are voting. Like Ambassador Harry Thomas said his wife was voting for the first time in America this year, right? When he was on the show the last time. They haven't. I'm thinking, how do you see all these people and then you guys think that you're going to win by a landslide? And then the reason that Trump is saying you can't count the votes after the third, who's that going to ruin? You know what I'm saying? It's not going to. We're early. We're getting there, but I think it's going to hurt him.
Well, yes, particularly when you tell soldiers who are over in Afghanistan, your vote that gets there after the third is not going to count. I think that's going to be a really problematic thing for the president to say to those soldiers in particular and overseas voters that because yours arrives after the third, it shouldn't be counted. That's a problem. That's a problem for the president.
Yeah, I'm shocked about that. I can't imagine it. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I'm going to probably be on watching from here because it'll be my daytime. So I'm going to be up having lunch, watching y'all's midnight.
Yeah, I'll be working in Philadelphia.
Really? What are you doing in Philadelphia?
Yeah. just helping to get the vote out.
Nice.
Yeah, Philadelphia is a critical county. Yeah, that's a critical city to the Pennsylvania vote. So we'd like to see that some of Biden's supporters make sure they show up.
And Angela just chimed in again and said, yes, Texas is showing out. We're getting our early voting. And she also said, yes, we need to keep showing up and being counted. But I think maybe she's in the Texas area. You know, my baby sister's also in Texas.
Yes, please ask your sister to call her friends. If they have not voted, please vote. Because if you, I mean, that's where I get this idea that at 11 o'clock on Tuesday, if Florida goes for Biden, and given what we know about what has been happening in Texas and North Carolina and Detroit and Wisconsin and Arizona, this could be a really big night. If they continue to show out like they've done in Texas, and we squeak by in Florida and get a victory in Texas, this is a done deal. You can stick a fork in him; he's done.
And yeah, one question I want to close out with you is that when it comes down to it, I think that the vote, and people that are out there listening to understand this is what you're voting for. The vote is not necessarily for Biden against Trump as much as it is for democracy, for non-racism or anti-racism, as opposed to racism and overt racism. And I'm okay with racism. And it's also not for, like me, I'm a business person, but I can also look and think, I have employees, I have family that have jobs, I have family that don't have the things that I have. So I'm not going to vote to save me money, right? Just knowing that it's going to hurt them. But I think that right now, America, when they vote for that, how do Americans not see the difference? You know what I mean? Like, how do they not see that you have a very racist, overtly discriminating, hateful group of people compared to
and they
everybody
would
else?
Argue that they would argue that is not a true characterization of them. And I don't even need to get to that. I don't need to argue with people whether they are or not racist. I just have to understand that the way they believe, when manifested in public policy, hurts me. I don't need to know that you are a racist. I just need you to understand that I recognize the results of your policies hurt me. And if that's the case, then I'm not going to be in favor of you holding public office. I'm not concerned with your protestations about how good you are and non-racist you are, but if your policies result in my being discriminated against, that's enough for me to say you are not a person I'd like to see in public office. That's enough. I don't need to have that debate.
Because that's the part I don't understand, that people, like even the people that I know, that I've known for years now, that now all of a sudden I've seen the different side of them, shock me, because I'm just like amazed at that. I'm amazed that they don't really understand, or that they think this way and they don't understand that you were supposed to be friends, right? So if you know that I'm your friend and or your brother or your coworker, or we do business together, for example, some of these people that I know, and you don't see how this hurts me.
Yes. I've made it clear to you that this hurts me.
Yes.
And yet you still correct. Then that's when you say, what did Angela, Maya Angelou say? Watch what they do, not what they say, or something like that.
Exactly.
Well, that's enough for me.
Angela, by the way, not Angelou, but Angela Johnson says that how can you keep people tell people that their vote that won't count, especially the military? I'm a spouse of a retired military, and our vote should count if nobody else's does.
Wait, say it again.
I'm sorry. Angela Johnson said, "How can you tell people?"
I'm sorry.
Do you hear me? You there? Said Angela Johnson said that, "How can you tell me that my vote, people's vote, how can you tell people that their vote won't count, especially the military? I'm a spouse of retired military, and our vote should count if nobody else's does. That makes me more determined to get people out to vote." Thank you very much, Angela. I appreciate that. So they're really active, but that's what I was saying before, is I think that you guys have forgotten that you guys have programmed Black folks. We're going to do it more now. We're going to go out and make it a party. I actually unfriended someone today that posted on my page. I looked at that, how are you one of my friends on Facebook? And you posted on one of my posts 3-4 different, comments, pretty much criticizing that Black folks were DJing and partying and having marching bands at voting, area to entertain people. They're in line for up to 10 hours. And I was saying how I lived in Kansas, right? Overland Park, Kansas, the richest city in the Midwest, I think, or at least in Kansas. And I was shocked the first time I voted for Bush, because I went right to my subdivision. I lived in a private subdivision. At the clubhouse, I voted. I mean, and every subdivision had their own voting, if I remember right? Every subdivision in their clubhouse had their own little voting for their, it wasn't like this. So it's shocking to me now. But what do you think about that in closing, David? About how they've got it to where we can't vote anywhere now?
Look, the Shelby decision that was ruled on some years ago by the Supreme Court allowed for this. When they eliminated Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, that allowed for pre-clearance of those states who had formerly been known to construct very difficult voting procedures and poll taxes and literacy tests and all of that. Those states that had a history of that had to get pre-clearance in order to initiate new voting rules or requirements. The Supreme Court eliminated that provision some years ago, and the day after, no, I think it was an hour after the ruling, the state of Alabama then began, just like Texas and North Carolina began to initiate these new voting procedures that had devastating effects on Black voter participation, and it was designed that way. And in fact, I think it was the new North Carolina, or the federal district court in North Carolina, said your map was how did they characterize this? Was initiated in such a way with surgical precision to eliminate the ability of African Americans to vote. Now, I've paraphrased it, but the words they used were surgical precision. It denied Black people the right to vote.
Because I'll tell you, I appreciated David chit chat. I know it's late there. I know that we were late getting on. I'm going to coordinate with you and bug you to maybe try to figure out your phone, because you'll be traveling, you said, on the 3rd.
Yes.
And
Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'll get with you behind the scenes and see if we can get your phone set up so that maybe we could either talk either while you're in Philadelphia or when you get back from Philadelphia, and do a little show, because it's my daytime. You're up late anyway. So you might as well have a conversation and see how that is, because I'm really curious about it. We're very excited about it. A lot of movements have happened here abroad for the almost 9 million or 10 million of us probably now that are abroad that care about our America, for example. And a lot of us came together and voted. I mean, before we would all go to the Elks Club or things like that. We couldn't do that this year. So that was a drag. But I guess you could go to the embassy, things like that. Of course, there were some online things too. So I'm excited to see how it does. But I'm gonna let you get some sleep. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you being here. Love you very much. And thanks so much, man. Sorry, I went through the whole trouble
Oh,
of
you're
signing
quite
on.
welcome. No. Look, you're quite welcome. And I would just say to your audience, wherever you are in the world, to the extent you have not voted, and you are, let's say, 12 hours in front of me or so it's Monday, go to wherever you need to go, online, to the embassy, to the consulate, deliver your ballot so that it can be so you can have it tomorrow, the day before the election. No, that would be today. Anyway, take your ballot and get it in immediately so that it will be counted. And I think you have up to 10 days for overseas ballots and 6 days for military ballots or something like that. Check on that, but make sure within the next several hours you, in fact, go out and vote.
Well, good. Thank you very much, David. Get some rest. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you later on, man. I'll bug you about when you're out of town in Philadelphia.
Okay, thanks, man.
Thanks. Love you much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey, you guys, that was David Youngblood, you guys. I wanted to call him because I want you guys to hear from someone that I know is an expert in the field, who's been working in D.C., doing lobbying, different legal work in D.C. for a very long time. Someone who does travel abroad like I do. We actually met in Asia some years back now, actually quite a few years back now. And I want you guys to hear that because a lot of folks really don't understand the value and the importance of voting right now. If you're in business, you guys are looking at this on Minimalist CEO or on my live channel or anything like that, or crimantonio.com, understand it's more important for us than anybody, and not just because of taxes. It's not the issue. The issue is the fact that we're minorities in business. We have business. We hire minorities. We have minority clients. We have minority customers. And of course, we're minority, maybe have white customers. And right now, we're really voting for democracy. We're really, to me, in my opinion, voting for the brand of our country. Do we want to look like we look right now globally? Because right now, globally, we're like hypocrites. We're like a laughing stock. The things that you see online criticizing Kamala Harris as opposed to, for example, the wife of Trump. It's like complete double standards. If you've seen the memes about Obama's wife compared to Trump's wife, it's completely terrible. And even if we don't realize how hypocritical and ridiculous it is, the world is watching right now. Every democracy around the globe is looking now, and they're all saying, if they can't handle it, if they can't do it, then what about us? Why are we even thinking about this? Every communist nation, such as Russia or China or Korea, all these places, those aren't communists, but all these places around the world that don't believe in democracy, they're looking now, and this is the best infomercial they could have on how it's dysfunctional. And really, they don't understand that what they're seeing is not democracy going down, but the racism is dragging America to the ground. They don't understand that. They don't see that, one, on the flip side, you're grooming a whole generation of Black people to be able to kill head and head, to compete head and head for everything. You've already groomed us to where 3, 4, 5 hours in line. Okay, cool. We're going to do it. We're going to work together as a community and make sure that we can be in line together. We're going to hold the line. We're going to stand here for you. We're going to bring you lunch. We're going to bring you whatever you need. We're going to let you leave and go use the bathroom and come back to your spot. We're working together on this because we look at it as right now, this is about our country, the way that we look, the way that we all live. And I'm going to tell you this, Republicans are wonderful. I have nothing against the Republican Party, actually. I don't know what they're doing right now. I don't know what happened. But at the end of the day, we need to really take this back and get Trump out and let them refigure out what they're doing. So keep that in mind, you guys. If you were there, Angela, thank you for tuning in. I'm glad that you guys were all here. I appreciate everything. I'm glad that you guys tuned in. You guys, I'm going to showcase one of my friends here abroad, who's another foreigner, actually from England, and his wife, Filipino wife, who's got a phenomenal resort where I'm going to go and hang out as soon as all this is over and COVID is done. I can't wait to get out and get to a resort and get away from the city and get into a pool and a jacuzzi and a fabulous tub and all that great stuff. You guys, I've got to pay the bills a little bit. So after this commercial, I'm going to come back. I'm going to close it out, get to your questions and get to your comments in just 1 second. But right now, you guys, We've had these clients for almost a decade now. When they first really got on the map, this is Kara Suchi Villa, you guys, and they're open for business right now. If you're in Tagaytay, Cavite area, or if you want to get out of the city to go to Tagaytay, Cavite area, Kara Suchi Villa is open. It's a wonderful place. It's totally affordable, and you can take up to 50 people with you. Whole family getaway, whole company getaway, outings, things like that. Anyway, check out for yourself, Kara Suchi Villa, you guys. Everyone, you're looking for a getaway, you're looking to get out of the house, get out of the city, and to go someplace that is beautiful, tranquil, fresh, clean, fresh air. You guys, Kara Suchi Villa is our place. Look at this fantastic place. Let's go. Flowers are amazing. The garden is amazing. Kara Suchi Villa, located in the Cavite Tagaytay area, is a place that is amazing that you will never regret going to. The place is cover worthy. Look at this. Oh, pools, the house, gazebos, grounds. You guys, you can have your events here. You can have your weddings here. You can just grab the family and bring them to just get away and live in the villa, you guys. Okay, I want you to meet someone. This is Colin Richards, the owner of Kara Suchi Villa. He is an amazing guy. He's wonderful. And hey, Colin, how are you doing, brother?
Hello, everybody. This is Colin Richards in Kara Suchi Villa. Daily rentals, weddings in the gazebo, whatever.
Let's go. The house. Okay. They have a website, you guys, karasuchivilla.com. You can see all of their little bungalows, all their gazebos, see their prices. It's totally affordable. Contact them now, you guys. Bookings at karasuchivilla.com. Okay, their sons are amazing chefs. They've been all over the world, the United States, everywhere. Their cuisine is award-winning, you guys. The quality is amazing. Real steaks, real potatoes, real vegetables, you guys. And of course, they cater to you guys. Look at this gazebo. Have your party here, your wedding. We've had Philippines ink tattoo competitions here. We've had magazine launch parties here. We've had getaways here. We've hosted American Embassy diplomats from the U.S. here. Look at this food. Okay, if you're in Bulacan, you get a special discount, you guys. They're Bulacan Lifestyle Magazine, accredited business, Kara Suchi Villa. They're going to host you guys. If you want to get out of the city, get out of the house, go here. Hey, you guys, thank you. Kareem Jackson live on the set, you guys. Philippines Magazine, Bulacan Lifestyle Magazine, and we are here to let you know Kara Suchi Villa is open for business. Your home away from home. Hey, you guys, Kareem Jackson, you were live on the set. I've got some news to tell you. 10 years ago, I left California, USA on the beach, and I got on a plane. I went to the tropics, and I reinvented myself. I wanted to turn my dreams into reality. I had a great time, great friend. I published magazines, books. I meditated. I sipped coconuts, you guys. I had tattoo competition, weekly shows, and I want you guys to know I sat down, and I wanted to write step by step how I did it. How did I get free? How did I outsource everything? How did I get to where I could run my company from my laptop? And now I finished it. It is done. My new book, you guys, Outsource Everything, is out now. I finished it. I'm telling you all about how I gained my freedom, how I live in the tropics next to the beach in a beautiful lifestyle, and I still run my business. I outsource everything. My new ebook, it's out now, you guys. It's available right now, you guys. I made it to where freedom is here for you. You can get the same freedom that I did. It's totally possible, and it's totally doable, and this has never been a better time than to do it. Grab my new ebook, Outsource Everything, on Google Play and the App Store, you guys. And of course, creamantonio.com/my ebook. Outsource Everything. Outsource Everything, How to Be a Minimalist CEO by Kareem Jackson. An introduction for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Presented by K&Co America and the Chongson Group. To break free. Oh my God, you guys are still here. Hey, okay, you guys, I'm so glad you're still here. I'm so glad you stuck around to the end because I want to show you some more about my book. I'm so excited about this. Outsource Everything, out now, you guys. It's out now. Go grab it. On my website, you guys, creamantonio.com. You can go to the App Store, any of these places, and go grab it. I want you to sit down, ponder this, and think about, why do I have the stress I have? Why am I working so hard? Why am I a slave to my business? Why do I not have more freedom? There's folks all over the world looking that can outsource to you. I'm going to introduce you to this, tell you why you don't need that new car, you don't need that bling bling, you don't need that house right now. Outsource everything. Get free. What good is that money? What good is all that fame and fortune if you are working every day like it's a job? Freedom is here. It's here for you, you guys. Grab my ebook, you guys. Outsource everything. Google Play, the App Store, and of course, KareemAntonio.com/my ebook. Go grab it, you guys.
Three, two, one. We are live. Hello, world. Success is for everyone, baby. You're live on the set with Kareem Jackson. Yes, let's go.
You guys, thank you for being here so much. I appreciate it. We want to make sure that you guys get out there and vote, you guys. Please vote, you guys. Get out there. Show them that we are not playing anymore, that we're going to be a part of the situation, that we want to vote, that we know the importance of voting, and we understand that we need to get Mr. Agent Orange out of the White House, get someone in there. And then if you don't like Biden or you don't like Kamala, but we can figure this out because they're not going to do anything to ruin America. And can't wait to find out how much money this guy has spent in the White House the last 4 years. I know we're at a crazy deficit right now, as it was when Bush left office. There was a crazy deficit. So I don't understand how people don't understand the difference between those two things. If you guys were just tuning in, you guys missed it. David was here on the show with us via phone voice. We didn't have his camera this time, but he had great insights. We were going to get back with David during or after the election. He said he's going to be in Philadelphia election night. That's about midnight. It's about lunchtime for us here in Asia. So I'm going to plan my lunch on Wednesday till Thursday or whatever day it is. I'll let you know. Plan my lunch around that, and we're going to talk to them and see how things go, because you know it's going to be all hell breaking loose. No matter what happens, hell is going to break loose in the States. And it's amazing that you would think that when Obama was elected the first time, less happened. There was no drama. There was no issue. It's more drama around this against another white dude and a white dude. Is kind of crazy to me. But anyway, I'm glad that you guys are here. I'm glad you guys all watched. I'm glad that you guys are interested. Please like this and share this. Go grab a friend. Tell them I will vote for you. If you have a business or if you sell water, whatever it is you do, go to these voting lines that are going to be around the corner the next 48 hours, you guys, and go ahead and support people. Give them food. Help them out. Give them whatever they need, because they're literally going to do a shift at work. Stand in line to vote for democracy, you guys, and get this all figured out. You guys have been live on the set. You guys know I'm having my new show this next week, Friday. We're talking about Dreadlocks Lifestyle Magazine that's coming out. I love dreadlocks. You guys saw the commercial for my ebook. You guys can see more about my ebooks on KareemAntonio.com, you guys. And of course, we're doing a lot of great promos right now for entrepreneurs. So once the election's over, hopefully we can die out from the politics a little bit. Hopefully America can wake up to its racist and discriminatory ways, and that can fade around a little bit. But a lot of folks, you guys have been asking for this content. A lot of folks that are working before, that lost their jobs, are now looking to get into business. So the content is kind of iffy right now on my channel, because we have so many things that people are asking about, between moving, becoming entrepreneurs, becoming expats, traveling the world, tons of things have changed. So a lot of you guys know that our content's changed. If you guys want to hear about something like this, you guys asked me to talk about voting. You asked me to bring on David again, who was on our show before, about the voting. Then I did this for you. I hope that you enjoyed it. And I'm glad that you guys were here, you guys. But anyway, tune in next time, you guys. Share this, like this. Love you much. Success is for everyone. Stay tuned, you guys, to it. And I will see you next time. Cheers.